Hey, it's me, Laura. And yeah, after wear reading glasses, I can see perfectly fine without, at a distance, I can see perfectly fine, but I gotta have my reading glasses on to read a book. So, I like Dr. Seuss books, and I like this as a movie. So I thought I'd get it and read it. Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. Horton Hears a Who. Yeah. I enjoyed the movie, so I thought I'd get the book and read it and see if we like the book just as much. Because remember, reading is important. When we can learn to read, we can learn just about anything. So the process of learning how to read is very important. So here we go. Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. Please note, I do not own the rights to the book or any of the pictures within it. I'm just enjoying reading. So here we go. Gotta do this. So this book I got from the Whitesboro Public Library, which is here in Whitesboro on Main Street. I absolutely love the library here in town. They are always helpful and kind, and you can also get movies there. So here we go. Horton Hears a Who. Horton. Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. My great friend Mitsuji Nakamura of Kyoto, Japan, for my great friend. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton. But who are you? Where? He looked and he looked. He could see nothing there but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. You know, there's such a glare. I wonder if I shut off my light, if there would be not the glare. Is that better? Not really. I think my front window, that's a little better. I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of a creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. There's Horton. He's looking at that speck of dust. So poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him. Because after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. so greatly, so gently, and using the greatest of care. The elephant stretched his great trunk through the air, and he lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humph, humpered a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Humph! Too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there has never been." She's not believing, Horton. "Believe me," said Horton, "I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four, quite likely a family for all that we know. A family with children just starting to grow. So please," Horton said, "as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be." That kangaroo didn't want to do that, though, I don't think. "I think you're a fool," laughed the sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Newell." And the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What terrible splash! The elephant frowned. "I can't let my very small person get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they." So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Come here, Casey. Though the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. "He talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with the speck on that flower." And Horton walked worrying about an hour. "Should I put the speck down?" Horton thought with alarm. "If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't, after all. A person's a person, no matter how small." A person's a person, no matter how small. That's right. Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could just barely hear it. "Speak up, please," said Horton. He put his ear near it. "My friend," came the voice, "you're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folks on the dust speck no end. You've saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores." "You mean," Horton gasped, "you have buildings there too?" "That little speck has buildings." "Oh, yes," piped the voice. We most certainly do." "I know," called the voice. "I'm too small to be seen. But I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who. And we are Whos are all thankful and grateful to you." And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, "You're safe now, don't worry. I won't let you down." But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, the big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Werickshame brothers came shouting, "What rot!" The elephant talking to the who's who are not. There aren't any who's, and they don't have a mayor, and we're going to stop all this nonsense, so there! Oh no, the monkeys are being not so nice of a monkeys. They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it up to a black-bottomed edge eagle named Vladikov, a mighty strong eagle of a very swift wing. And they said, "Will you kindly get rid of this thing?" And before the poor elephant could even speak, that eagle flew off with a flower in his beak. Oh no! All that afternoon and far into the night, the black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans, even stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged, "Please don't harm all the little folks who have so much right to live as us bigger folks do." But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called back, "Quit your yapping. I'll fly the night through. I'm a bird. I don't mind it. And I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find it." Wow, they're not being nice. Oops, that's a blue page. And at 6:56 the next morning, he did it. It was a terrible place that he hid it. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. "Find that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail." And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. "I'll find it," cried Horton. "I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust." And clover by clover by clover with care, he picked up and searched them and called, "Are you there? Are you there?" But clover by clover by clover, he found that the one that he sought was just not to be found. It wasn't to be found. That the one that he sought was just not around. Oh, I'm sorry, my nose is itching. And by noon, poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last on the 3,000,000th flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, do tell me, are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?" He just kept looking until he found his From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor. We've really had trouble, much more than our share. When the black-bottomed birdie let us go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks all have stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chair smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please, pleaded the voice of the mayor, will you stick by us who's while we're making repairs? Of course, Horton answered. Of course I will stick. I will stick by you small folks through thin and through thick. Humph, humph, the voice. For almost 2 days you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carrying on is in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state, snapped the big kangaroo, that your silly nonsense game is all through. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too, me too. They're just not wanting to leave Horton alone. With the help of the Warwickshire brothers and dozens of Warwickshire's uncles and Warwickshire cousins and Warwickshire in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for your dust speck, that we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of hazelnut oil. Boil it, gasped Horton. Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons. They'll prove it to you. Mr. Mayor, Horton called. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out, make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't care, don't. If you don't, every who, I'm going to end up in a hazelnut stew. They better get noisy. They better make noise. They better make noise. And down on the dust speck, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in Whoville Town Square, and his people cried loudly. They cried out in fear. We are here! We are here! We are here! We are here! Oh, the elephant smiled. That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well. All I heard, snapped the bang kangaroo, was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me either. I'm going to have to change my camera angle so that you guys can see it. This is kind of glaring. Grab him, they shouted, and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight so he'll never shake loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in the hazelnut juice. Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Warwickshire gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into the cage, but he managed to call to the mare, "Don't give up! I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small, and you very small persons will have not to die." Excuse me, if you make yourself heard. So come on now and try. Come on, who in Whoville, make some noise, make some noise. The mayor grabbed a tom-tom. He started to smack it, and all over Whoville they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles. They beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops, and old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots, on clarinets, oomphas, and boom-fas and flutes. That must have been a lot of noise, a lot of noise. Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling, mad hullabaloo, "Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?" And Horton called back, "I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong as quite as mine. But they don't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is there anyone shrieking? Is everyone shrieking?" Through the town rustled the mayor from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping, but it wasn't enough. All this ruckus and roar. He had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. Oh, my nose is itching. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shrieking quite hidden away in the Fairfax apartment 12J, a very small shrieker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp. And the mayor rushed inside, and he grabbed the young twerp. And he climbed with the lad up the Eliphiaberg Tower. This, cried the mayor, in your town's darkest hour, the time for all who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country, he said. You've got to make noise in greater amounts. So open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts. Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and shouted out, "Yop!" And the yop, the one small extra yop, put it over. Finally, at last, from the speck on the clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. Do you see what I mean? They've proved that they are persons no matter how small, and their whole world was saved by the smallest of all. How true, yes, how true, said the big kangaroo. And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do. From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the younger kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too! From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how smallish." And that's the end of Horton Heard a Who. Horton Heard a Who. So you know what, if you like that book, why don't you see if your library has the Horton Heard a Who movie? I've watched the movie, and now we've read the book. So let me know if you would enjoy this book. And head off to the library where you are at and get the movie. Have a great day. And remember, reading can get you just about anywhere. You can learn just about anything if you can learn to read. So find some books that you enjoy and read to me. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.